Parents have to be extremely careful. It's very easy to blame the child. The child is not to be blamed.
We learn about life through questions.
Can people then change their aura?
Do they happen through the subconscious mind?
How do we get rid of it?
Does that really help?
Can we enhance it more than what it is?
To answer some of these, Mr. Pratibimb 𝐤𝐴𝐼, founder of Pratibimb Charitable Trust, brings to you Face to Face. This week we are talking about parenting babies.
Ensure the baby burps. Talk to the baby. Sing for the baby. Instructions, instructions, and so many instructions. In the earlier days, parents actually learnt parenting infants only after they became parents. They learnt it along the way. Today, there's so much information available in the media, in the books. We have counselors. So do you think it really helps in parenting of babies?
Every education helps. The problem is that we have forgotten that our ancestors, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, they were successful parents. So obviously they did something right. And in those days, there were no counselors or no access to media or facilities as they are available today. What we seem to forget as human beings is that the baby ultimately grows up to be an adult. And when that adult is not performing the way he's normally supposed to perform, something went wrong in the process of upbringing. And that's where we start questioning parenting. As far as the medical issues are concerned, health issues are concerned, food habits, what kind of nutrition, a lot of scientific material is available and probably it is very useful. But when it comes to the psychological build-up of a baby, that's where a lot of things are going wrong currently. And that's why we are having babies becoming young children becoming adolescents, adolescents growing into adults with a lot of complexes. And that gets revealed in the society in the form of trauma, stress, attrition, disharmony, imbalance. That's basically it. So when the whole process starts from childbirth.
So are you trying to say that the baby's state of mind actually starts shaping right from when it's a little infant?
The mind starts shaping in the womb of the mother. But in the womb of the mother, there is no interference of the society. In the womb of the mother, the baby's mind is completely under the governance of the universal mind. When I say universal mind, people have question marks. Every human being anywhere in this world is identically constructed. Whether you take America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, the structure of the human baby is identical. So there is something perfectly organized, synchronized in the formation of the baby in the womb. The problem starts after the delivery. When you get exposed to the environment, different cultures, different values, different languages, that's where the shaping of the conscious mind starts building up. So from day one, the conscious mind is now getting cultivated.
Okay.
Now depending on what background, what environment, what influences, that will determine the quality of the child growing up into an adult. So that's an important subject, that how a baby should be cultivated. Food, clothing, those are minor issues.
Minor issues. So is this why sometimes we find that some babies, when they look at some individuals, they smile and they are happy. While they look at some other individuals, they just begin to cry loudly. So are they able to really understand anything, or what is this phenomenon?
This is not such a straightforward subject, because you must also remember that the babies come with a background.
Okay.
So some babies are happy babies. Some babies are cranky babies. They are not happy babies. Now that background takes us into another subject. So we will digress from this topic.
Okay.
But you're right, with some individuals, babies vibe well. So when we say the word vibe, It's basically vibrations.
Okay.
The whole universe is a bundle of vibrations. A baby's body vibrates at a particular frequency and amplitude. Your body is vibrating at a particular frequency and amplitude. When your vibrations are not in sync with the baby's vibration, the baby is uncomfortable. And that discomfort gets revealed or manifested in the form of crying or showing unpleasantness on the face. When your vibrations are in sync with the baby's vibrations, the baby is a happy baby. She smiles or he smiles, jumps, comes willingly in your arms. You extend your arms, the baby is willing to come.
Yeah,
Somebody
willing to
other, someone else extends the arm, the baby refuses.
True.
So what is this? This is a question of vibrations. The baby doesn't know who you are. You're a newcomer, and yet the baby is willing to come to you. And somebody who is there with the baby is not willing to go. So it's not such a straightforward subject as people think buying potatoes or vegetables.
True. So you do believe that we can do sanskars on infants also?
Oh, yes.
So how do you suggest, or how exactly?
So first the
that happens?
sanskars have to be done on the parents and the people around the baby. We don't understand so many things. We just indulge in things without understanding the subject. Parenting is a subject. Before parenting was marriage. We don't understand marriage, we indulge in marriage. And then we have a baby. And then we don't know how to go about dealing with the baby. Then you are not the only influencing factor in the baby's life after the baby is born. There are other people who influence the babies. What is the level of your influence on the baby? What is the influence of the society on the baby? That determines in which direction the baby's mind gets cultivated. Many parents will discover after the child becomes 10, 11, 12, our children don't listen to us. What happened? Your influence started diminishing and the society influence started taking control. Because it was convenient for you to focus on your careers, your passions, your involvements in whatever field you are engaged in. And that took you away from your child. The child in the meantime filled up his or her time with the society around that child.
What he saw
Could
around.
be school friends, could be school teachers, could be uncles, aunts.
So for infants, would you say there's something like some concept like bad parenting for infants?
Neglect is the worst kind of parenting.
Okay.
Because whatever you do over a period of time has an impact. It's like if you take a piece of paper and write the letter A. So there is a single print. You have written the letter A once. Now if I ask you to write repeatedly on that A, there is multiple prints. Yeah, the ink gets darker and darker. A baby's mind is like that. If you start programming the baby's mind with whatever culture that you want to introduce your baby to, that cultural print becomes dark. And if that cultural print is sustained, it remains. But if it is written once today, then for 2-3 days there is no backup. Then somebody else is imprinting something else. Then there is a lot of confusion in the baby. There is no consistency. For example, you are trying to teach or you are trying to learn yourself 3 languages at the same time.
Right.
You will be in trouble. You will not know which grammar to apply where. The syntax changes from language to language. So the baby also, the baby is more flexible than you and me because the mind is fresh. But developing systems, and that's why systems are important. When you are cultivating the mind of the baby, you are installing a system.
So what kind of pointers would you like to give lastly to our audience in terms of parenting babies, or some important tips, some takeaways?
The first step is consistency. You have to create a consistent environment for a baby. It can't be fluctuating.
Changing or fluctuating, okay.
Because the baby absorbs. The baby is a dry sponge. So the ability to absorb is very high. If there is inconsistency in the environment for a baby, then there is a lot of absorption taking place, which will later on cause confusion.
Okay.
That's first, so consistency. Second, do not pamper the baby saying he's too small. Let's not educate him. Remember, he's a dry sponge. So you bombard him with as much of input as you can. The baby is capable of absorbing as long as your input is consistent. Number 3, examples. Because there is active education, there is passive education. What you communicate actively is active education. But what the baby is absorbing through his senses, he's seeing things, he's hearing things, he's smelling things, he's touching things, he's tasting things, that becomes education for him. Now, if you are cultivating a particular food pattern, a good example is the Western children versus the Indian children. The Indian children are fed with a lot of sweets. So if you are eating a rasgulla as an adult, you don't find it harmful because your tongue is cultivated to that sugar sweet. You give a rasgulla to a Western child, oh my God, it's so sweet. And you almost get surprised that how could he twist his face and not like a rasgulla. So this is called cultivation. So there is an active cultivation of the baby, there is a passive cultivation of the baby. When you provide an environment of inconsistencies, then you have provided an environment of confusion. So we have to be extremely careful how we behave in the presence of the baby. Okay, my dad wakes up at the same time. My dad has a bath. My dad dresses up well. My dad leaves the house at the same time. Is being watched.
Watched by them.
That's not an active education, but that's a passive education. The same baby watches a dad waking up at 5 o'clock one day, 10 o'clock another day, casual on one day, talking anyhow. That's also education. For the baby, there is no right and wrong. There is just availability to be absorbed, and it absorbs. The judgment part starts coming around the age of 6, 7. They start then analyzing, reasoning. Up to that point, they are just absorbing.
So you're saying the disciplining should start right when it's a little infant.
Yes.
So about the feeding time, the
You start
bathing
disciplining
time.
yourself first.
Yes, okay.
Like you will see in some movies, parents are insisting that the child sleeps at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Go to bed, tuck yourself, switch off the lights. Parents insist on that. So that's good education. Some parents insist when you wake up, do up your bed yourself,
Make up your,
fold your blanket. The same thing as brushing of teeth. We don't give the option to the child, okay, today you didn't brush your teeth, it's okay. You insist, you're woken up, brush your teeth. Now for every adult, brushing teeth is a habit. I don't have to be told, brush my teeth. I wake up, I brush my teeth. So this is all formation of habit, which is, in technical terms, it is conditioned reflex. You are conditioning the mind of the baby. So parents have to be extremely careful. It's very easy to blame the child. The child is not to be blamed.
No matter how many books we read or how much we read on the media, we need to discipline ourselves. We need to first change our behavior and then expect the same from our little babies.
If you have some questions about life, please connect with us. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon for weekly updates.